Max Frost here for young people. Now, Nick, I'll preface this segment this way. We're not gonna be fooled again like we were fooled with A.
Never again. Never.
That's not gonna happen again. So we need to go ahead, Nick, and identify who Max Frost is being tailored to be. Max Frost is being tailored to be that young person that's drawing in all the young people that's needed. Now, what did they just learn? The Democrats in this last election, they can't win no elections without young people. So Max Frost, do you think it's a coincidence that nigga flipped on the Palestinians? And now, oh, the new golden boy. If they put him on corporate media calling him the new golden boy and they keep pushing him out there, Nick,
I saw more than Joe praise him.
Exactly. That means they feel secure, Nick.
Yeah.
That they have got this guy. That means if they putting him out there like that, that means because they can't have him go out and then he start talking about some Marxist shit. You get what I'm saying? They know we got him. So let's go ahead and bring him. This is the guy that's here to bring in young people back to the Democratic Party. I just want to preface that. Go ahead.
I'll pass it right to you, but I don't know. I wonder where you guys' thoughts on this because I remember this really clearly when AOC, Ilhan, and Rashida first hit the scene. They used to get a lot of critical liberal media coverage. I know because I used to follow this shit like a hog back then. As someone who was part of the Bernie campaign, they used to get a lot of critical media coverage for maybe the first year. Then they were like, "Oh shit, they are sellouts." We thought they was actually about to fight for socialism. We thought that they even said in Fox News and a few MSNBC statements. They thought that Squad would come in and vote against Nancy Pelosi. They thought they're gonna throw everything into chaos. Then they realized that they were good little Democrat sellouts. So then the right wing media kept up the pressure, but the left wing media started to adore them, started to love them. Now you see AOC on Alex Wagner. With no pushback, no criticism at all. So the same, and remember, Jennifer Rubin is like a reply girl to AOC now. She always having fun with AOC replying to him. And Jennifer Rubin was one of the most unhinged anti-Bernie people.
Terrible, yeah.
So you see how there was initial pause. Then they realized they were sellouts. Look at Maxwell Frost and the new progressives. There's not even that moment of criticism. It's like they're immediately welcoming because they're like, oh, yeah, we all know the Justice Democrats.
We've been told about you, Maxie. Like, think about it now. Before Max, we was like, Jamal Bowman's quickest sellout ever seen. Yeah. Max, because Jamal Bowman at least got elected and flipped the next day. Yeah. Before Max Frost got elected, Palestinians said, that nigga left. Flipped. Yeah. Because he saw the writing on the wall. He's like, damn, I really could win this shit. Then he started getting money and backing, and then the Democratic establishment started talking to him behind the scenes. And they said, oh yeah, we got this cat. Now, got a short clip. This is a short segment. I'm just going to play the clip, and I just want to get your reaction, but prefaced it enough to illustrate the point, what he's here for. And I think it's very curious what he says in this short little clip. Let's listen.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Larissa, and I run the Young Adult Program at the Friends Committee on National Legislation. And I really love what you were saying, Representative Frost, about bringing young adults, young people to the table. You said that kind of at the beginning of our conversation. And so I want to talk a bit about what happens after the voting, after we've gotten our people elected. Something we teach young adults is that representatives and senators have to listen to you. There is a way to get meetings with them and get your story heard. Unfortunately, that doesn't always happen. People don't want to take those meetings, or they take them and they're not really listening to what we're saying. So my question is, how do you think that other colleagues of yours could bring more young adults to the table once they're in office, and how do you plan to do that now that you are not rep-elect anymore, but representative? Congratulations.
Thank you. Now, Nick, just curious, I'm putting you on the spot. As a candidate, socialist candidate, how would you answer that question? What are some of the things you would say to say, hey, this is how I would bring people into my socialist party, my communist party, whatever the, workers' party. What would your sort of answer be?
I told you guys before that. Remember when the Amazon Union called out AOC because AOC wasn't showing up at their events despite being invited? Yes. And then they got a win. Then AOC was like, "Oh, I've always been on board." They was like, "Nah, motherfucker. When we was calling you, you wasn't answering." So I remember when we covered that at the time. I said, "Yo, if I was ever an elected politician, these niggas would be kicking me out. Like I'll be at so many of these strikes." Literally, I'll be on my calendar. Like, you guys got any info on anyone striking, protesting? Got anyone who needs on the ground support? Nigga, it'll be the point. Like, if I was in the AOC same position, there would be Amazon workers that be like, "Nigga, we don't need you no more. You were just here, bro." Like, so this question wouldn't be a thing for me. I'm like, if I was him to answer the question, because obviously I wouldn't have been in charge yet, I was like, "Yo, you guys are gonna get tired of me real quick because I'm really don't even care about being in Washington. What the point of me being in Washington? I'm not gonna have any committee assignments. They're gonna hate my guts. I'm not gonna have no structural power. So what I'm gonna do, shit, I might even skip out on Washington. I'll stay in the hood. Stay in the hood. Who got protests? Who want to have a town hall? Let's have a Q&A. You guys see how it's the exact opposite with the squad and these people? I'm not saying Maxwell, because obviously he ain't taken office yet. But you see how impossible it is to get a conversation with AOC and the squad? You got activists that was at the protest that Cori Bush did at the Capitol steps, and they couldn't even talk to him. So it's like opposite approach than I do. My approach would be like, y'all niggas had to kick me out. Like, they're like, "Man, this nigga Nick, you using them for PR." I'm like, no, I really do, I promise. But meanwhile, we had to beg these motherfuckers to acknowledge that the outside game exists. Ro Khanna, who we're gonna roast here later, the only person who goes on independent media, the only one. So this question 100% applies, and Maxwell Frost need to have continued pressure on this because he's gonna give some bullshit answer here, I'm assuming. But he 100% not going to fall through the way I want, right? But go ahead, CJ.
Let's listen. Now, you let me know, because I think you might, in a little bit, in the next minute or so, within a minute, you'll be telling me to stop somewhere. So let's listen.
No, this is a great question because one young person being, and there's a lot of young people in Congress to be exact, right? Like this incoming freshman class is really exciting. There's a lot of firsts. There's a lot of very young people of color, progressive folks who've come in, Greg Casar being one, Delia Ramirez, Summer Lee, Robert Garcia. I could go on for a long time. But so it's really exciting. I'm definitely not the only one. But what I'd say is like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 young people going in Congress doesn't mean that the values or best interests of young people will be seen throughout the entire Congress. And I think it's important to know that, right? We see the same thing when we get Black folks in position of power. We see the same thing when we get just people, marginalized communities in position of power. Sometimes we don't see it translate quickly. And a lot of it's because these systems have been around for such a long time. It's almost unfair of us to expect. I remember 4 women of color who came to Congress 2 terms ago, and people were disappointed. Everything didn't change right away. And I'm like, that's kind of an unfair way to judge, for folks.
Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, he's going to be the worst of them all. Like, he saw Jamal Bowman. He was like, "Nigga, I'm about to break your record and sell now." This is easy. What he's saying here makes no sense. He said, "Well, there are a lot of young people." First, he started filibustering in the beginning of the video.
Yeah,
literally wasn't talking. There's a lot of young people of color, a lot of people of here. And then, despite saying there are a lot, he's not the only one. He did say, "It's actually kind of hard, man. You expecting us to fight? Like, you think we're gonna change shit? Like, yeah, it's hard, man. Come on, what do you guys want? It's hard." And then he lies, and this is the lie that the progressive politician groomed people to believe that, oh my God, there's only a handful of us. We need more. There's a handful of us, so you can't expect change. We don't need that many. And this is what they're lying to people about. We literally need just enough, for example, to stop Nancy Pelosi from being speaker. We need just enough to hold up an omnibus bill, which we have enough. So let's continue the video because I already caught him on a few lies and a few logical inconsistencies. So let's continue. I'm pretty sure there's more.
Yeah.
Folks who come in the system that has been here for a long time. Okay, so either way, what I'm getting to is this. I think it's really important that people identify like their gaps and what they want to do before they start, legislating. So that way they can build systems of accountability into their office. For us, we've been working closely with like.
Are you incapable to talking to working class people? Like, can you talk and have a normal conversation? Play the last 15 seconds again and listen to this word salad that says nothing. Talk like you are a young progressive. Why the fuck are you using DC speak? Am I the only one that
he's already been in training? That's what I'm saying. They already have been grooming this guy because they know he said, "Yeah, I'm here to sell out." So here you go.
Or folks who come in the system that has been here for a long time. Okay, so either way, what I'm getting to is this. I think it's really important that people identify like their gaps and what they want to do before they start, legislating, so that way they can build systems of accountability into their office. For us, we've been working closely with like.
You tell me that doesn't sound like AOC? Like
that sounds like nothing.
Wait, you said some words, but I didn't grasp any concept at all from what you said. But
I remember the question. They do this thing, and I'm literally gonna pull this up just real quick.
Go ahead, do it.
They're the CIA tactics right here, right? They do this, and people been calling out Ryan Graham for this as well. You guys see, talk as frequently as possible in that great length. Illustrate your points using long anecdotes. Like this filler, but it's the same thing with Ryan Graham do. These people will just talk, they fill the air, and then by the time they're done, you're like, shit, what the fuck the question was?
Yeah.
He's literally meant to obfuscate. He asked him a simple question. The question was very simple. Just in case you guys forgot, he said, how do we get in contact with you guys? Are we going to be able to meet you people in office, in Congress? And then he goes on this large war salad when he can simply say, yeah, only thing he had to say in this question, like, yo, I know the progressive movement had not been good on this, AOC and Squad had not been good on it. He don't even have to say that, to be honest. He can say, I will be accessible. I will be accessible as possible.
Right.
But he does not say this. Go back another 15 seconds. He literally says this word salad that makes no sense based on what the question's saying. But go ahead, let's continue.
That has been here for a long time. Okay, so either way, what I'm getting to is this. I think it's really important that people identify like their gaps and what they want to do before they start, legislating, so that way they can build systems of accountability into their office. For us, we've been working closely with like Florida and Orlando movements, so we can build on this term of like co-governance and like what does it mean to co-govern with the movement. And
I want to be okay, but I want to emphasize that he's not answering the question. He's not answering the question.
Just making up shit as he goes.
Yeah, it's young people, but it's also beyond young people. It's like workers, it's immigrants, it's like everybody, right? And I think it's important that people have that conversation. I don't have an answer that makes sense for everyone because I think everything's going to look different. And there's different.
Yes,
that sounds like AOC. That sounds straight out the school of AOC. I don't have an answer that makes sense to everyone.
That's an easy question. I don't want an answer that makes sense. Nigga, you was asked, will you be available for your constituents? And his response is, I got an answer that don't make sense for everybody. What? Holy shit, I didn't see this video. This guy is horrible. Like, we probably weren't even doing AOC segments after we're probably gonna be nothing but Maxwell Frost. This guy is coming in hot with garbage. He coming in hot. Holy shit. Go ahead, CJ. Jesus Christ.
Constituencies and politics and everything like that. But I think having the conversation first and foremost is like the first step. Then the next step is actually acting upon it. And so we're kind of we're in between those steps. We're still figuring out what are those systems of accountability going to look like? What does it look like to co-govern with movements and with unions in Central Florida? What does it look like to do that in a state legislature where we're not going to have any wins there? I mean, Republicans are in a super majority. We have a fascist governor. There's a lot going on in Florida.
He's answering a question, but he's answering it this way. This is a person who's hedging. This is a person like who knows that their answer could lead to some incrimination. So they're trying to answer several questions ahead.
Exactly.
So what he's doing is how do we get accessible to you? Now, if you're accessible to him, what do you need to be accessible? Are you going to come and say, I like you, everything you're doing, or are you coming down there to talk to him about a problem? So he's saying, this is how we're going to co-govern. He's basically saying, you're not going to be really accessible to me, but we're going to figure out a way to co-govern for me to be accountable. This sounds just like AOC. So he's trying to, because he knows, you're going to be accessible that way because I know you want to bring problems to me to solve that I already been told by my handlers are never going to be solved. So this is what he's doing, Nick. This is crazy. This is crazy. Somebody is grooming this guy. Somebody's grooming this guy.
Yeah.
Now it could have been through his campaign, but somebody is grooming him.
Yeah, and you
know, this is advanced level word salad. This is like
you're trained to do this. That's a good point. You're trained to do this. No one does this naturally. You're trained to do this shit. Like, go back 6 seconds, and you see he bring up Ron DeSantis in the far right. He's like, yo, technically we won't be able to get anything done because Florida is a Republican stronghold. What does that have to do with the question, sir? He's answering your complaint that you're going to come to his office already. Did not tell you he's answering ahead. He's answering questions ahead on why he's not gonna. So he's not answering accessibility. So he's not answering that directly, but he's trying to give you the reason of why you're not going to be accessible before he comes back to telling you I'm not going to be accessible. That's basically what he's doing. This is next level word salad. This is like somebody's grooming him. You know what it told me? You know what it told me, CJ? The squad was extremely goofy, right? Like, they had no idea what they was doing. The DNC and a lot of their advisors, they're like, Now these new people, I think they're going to be way worse than the original squad. They are going to be high level, highly trained establishment goons. Unlike, like, I remember Corey Bush gave this interview in Fox News where she did not look good. Like, she didn't have this training. I don't know if you guys remember. It was a very viral clip when she was campaigning where she was kind of exposed as a dumbass, where she didn't have the right answer. She didn't know how to do the politician cadence. So there was a lot of amateur-like behavior among the squad when they first did DC. Nah, this new generation, this new progressives, bro, they probably be polished up because the establishment already know what their role is now. They embracing the Justice Democrats and DSA. They're like, let's train these people so they can be the effective youth wing of the Democratic Party. This guy is dangerous. Extremely dangerous. But go ahead, CJ.
Here we go.
What does it look like to co-govern with movements and with unions in Central Florida? What does it look like to do that in a state legislature where we're not going to have any wins there? I mean, Republicans are in a super majority. We have a fascist governor. There's a lot going on in Florida.
He's literally telling you all the reasons why not to come to his office. What do you expect? DeSantis is here. Go ahead, Nick. We paused it at the same spot. You obviously want to go.
I'm gonna address this pushback real quick. I think it's funny. This guy said, "You guys ever going to attack the center or the right in the video?" Sir,
this is center right here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, CJ, you already had it. That's why we love. I love pushback comments. Your mind is so decolonized that you see people send weapons to Nazis and like they're on the left. I don't criticize many people on the left here. Name one member of the squad that's on the left. Not a single goddamn one. If you vote for the Iron Dome in Israel, if you vote to fund the Capitol Police more and give them surveillance powers, let me drop everything else. I can drop it. There's a lot of examples. But as a leftist on principle, if you arm Nazis, you're not leftist. You're a Nazi sympathizer. You're a Nazi enabler. So you, by definition, cannot be on the left. So I think it's funny when people overturn windows so screwed up when they think that elected progressive Democrats they think they're on the left while they're funding the police and the military more. So I just like doing them quick comebacks. What's up, JB? What's poppin', bro? I'll call them in the chat. What's poppin', bro? This is your representative. Boy. I hope
this is his representative.
Yeah, CJ. I don't know if you know that. I'm gonna
RBN is about to be in that ass, man. RBN is about to be in that ass. Because literally, what do they always say when somebody go protest? You're not even in my district. Not in this case, sir. RBN will be in that ass. This is your constituent.
I don't know. We were talking earlier in DMs. I don't know if you saw it, but we're gonna try and trick Maxwell Frost to come on. We see because Sabi got his email address. And I'm going to be like, yo, we have one of our members of your constituent. We just had a question for you. You say you are wanting to be held accountable. So are you wanting to come on for an interview with one of your constituents? Woo, I really hope this works, son. Can you imagine me grilling this guy? I'm going to try. I'm going to take my shot. But JB, that's your constituent. You've been watching. Yeah. What's your thoughts about what you've been hearing?
Good to see you guys. One of the things to make note, especially about Representative Frost, is the fact that his non-answer is quite telling. That he will not make himself available to one of his constituents like myself also part of independent media in order to keep him held accountable within this state. I do not care that this state is run by Republicans. I do not care that we have a fascist like Ron DeSantis. You are still a representative of us, and so therefore you need to hear us out. I live near Millennia. I live near Oak Ridge Road. It's like right down the street from me. We spent millions on the expansion of Holden Avenue, right, to connect Holden Avenue from Rio Grande all the way to John Young. We spent millions on that, right, just to expand that. That leads to Millennia. That leads to the mall that is one of the biggest centers of capitalism within this part of the community. That mall is extremely opulent. And a lot of the people that live in this neighborhood work in that area. We're the ones that work in the Jimmy Choo's. We're the ones that work in the Tiffany's. We're the ones that work in the Bloomingdale's. We're the ones that work in the Versace stores. We're the ones that work in these places. We're the ones that work in the Ethan Allen's. We're the ones that work at these restaurants like the Cheesecake Factory. And it's literally 5-minute drive away from me. And so, which is also part of Maxwell Alejandro Frost's district. So all this, and then our neighborhood still looks like crap. This is still the hood next to an opulent mall, which leads directly to Windermere and Isleworth, which is a very rich area. Tiger Woods has a former house in that area. Shaq has a house that was in that area. That type of neighborhood. And that leads directly to that mall where these people shop. And so my thing is, why don't you have accessibility to us, especially the poor people within your district? Why not to the people who are largely Puerto Rican, Haitian, black in this area? Because the thing is that I call this area where I live Little Port-au-Prince, because there's a lot of Haitian immigrants here, right?
What is his take on that? What is his take on what Joe Biden?
I don't know. And to be honest with you, I would like to hear his take on it, because the thing is that the thing is that they get overlooked. Like, for instance, we have Orange County Sheriff's Office here almost on a daily basis overlooking this neighborhood. And the thing is that the crime in this neighborhood is due to poverty, not because of guns or just bad people. Like, look, because of poverty. If Rome has been here, I can tell you how many liquor stores and check cashing places are within a block away from my house. So my thing is like, okay, you're going to spend all this money. Why not do a program where you take all these high school kids, largely that go to Oak Ridge High School, and help get them grants to go to college, right? Or grants to go to Mid-Florida Tech, which is right down the street on Oak Ridge, right? So they can get a technical education at least. So my thing is like, why are we spending on this money on this road instead of that? You know, are you going to be, buddy with our former representative, Val Demings? Are you going to be buddy with her husband, Jerry Demings, who is the mayor of Orange County, which Maxwell Alejandro Frost's district is in? Are you buddy with him? Or what about Buddy Dyer, the mayor of Orlando, who is also a Democrat? My county, run by a Democrat. The city of Orlando, run by a Democrat. My district, ran by a Democrat.
And that's such a powerful point, JB. Because
go ahead. My point is that he's doing this word salad, and he could have just said, yes, you guys will have full access to me. I'm not going to be like everybody else. I'm not going to be like the cop, my predecessor, the cop.
Let's finish. Just a few seconds left. Go ahead. Go ahead. I couldn't see you. Go ahead. Let me.
JB pretty much said these people are representatives. Remember what I told you guys? You want to know who my representative is? Emmanuel Cleaver.
Who's yours?
Emmanuel Cleaver. He's a member of the Black Congressional Caucus. He's against Medicare for All, the Green New Deal. He was a big Hillary Clinton supporter, a big Joe Biden supporter. He's a neoliberal. Can't see this. It's surrounded by neoliberals. Jay now has this neoliberal cosplaying as a progressive in his district. So when people ask, why you spend so much time criticizing Democrats? It's because we're one of the few people who are actually fucking serious. Why should I spend all my time criticizing Marjorie Taylor Greene and all these people who live in deep red districts that don't govern me? Marjorie Taylor Greene is a clown, but she's not impacting my life. You want to know who's impacting my life? The Black congressional oligarchs who literally legislate in favor of real estate development companies and landlords who funding the KCPD more. We have one of the most corrupt police departments in the country. Local politics impact your life more than anything else, and Black people are governed by neoliberal Democrats for the most part. And that's what you should be having your focus on.